Welcome to today's video, where we'll be exploring one of the most powerful tools in the Apache Kafka ecosystem, MirrorMaker2. If you're working with distributed systems, data replication, or event-driven architectures, this topic is crucial for ensuring data consistency and reliability across multiple clusters. In this video, we'll dive into a specific scenario where MirrorMaker2 can help solve a common problem, stopping offset sync when a consumer group is idle on the source cluster. So, let's set the context for our discussion. When working with Kafka, it's not uncommon to have multiple clusters that need to be kept in sync. This is where MirrorMaker2 comes into play. It allows us to replicate topics from one Kafka cluster to another. However, when dealing with multiple clusters and consumer groups, things can get complex quickly. Imagine you have a source cluster with a topic being consumed by a group of consumers. The offset of this consumer group is crucial in keeping track of the progress of consumption. Now, let's say you want to replicate this topic to a target cluster using MirrorMaker2. By default, MirrorMaker2 will continuously sync the offsets from the source cluster to the target cluster. However, what happens when the consumer group on the source cluster goes idle? Maybe there are no more messages being produced, or perhaps the consumers are just not active for a period of time. In this scenario, you might want to stop syncing the offsets to avoid unnecessary replication traffic and reduce the load on your clusters. Here's where things get interesting. MirrorMaker2 provides a configuration option that allows us to control when offset sync should occur. Specifically, we can use the sync_apply_time.ems property to set a timeout for how long MirrorMaker2 will wait before syncing offset. But what if you want more fine-grained control over this process? What if you only want to stop offset sync when the consumer group is truly idle, and not just temporarily quiet? This is where we can leverage another feature of MirrorMaker2, the ability to use custom filters. With a custom filter, we can implement logic that checks whether the consumer group is idle before deciding whether or not to sync offset. Let's take an example to illustrate this point. Suppose you have a topic named My Topic with a single partition, and a consumer group named MyGroup.afa. You've configured MirrorMaker2 to replicate My Topic from your source cluster to your target cluster. To implement the custom filter, you would create a class that implements the offsetting filter interface. In this class, you can add logic to check whether the consumer group is idle by querying the Kafka offsets topic on the source cluster. If the group is idle, your filter can simply return an empty list of offsets, effectively stopping the offset sync process. By combining MirrorMaker2's configuration options with custom filters, we've gained precise control over when and how offset sync occurs. This not only helps reduce unnecessary replication traffic, but also ensures that our clusters are kept in sync accurately and efficiently. To summarize the main points of this video, MirrorMaker2 allows us to replicate topics from one Kafka cluster to another. By default, MirrorMaker2 continuously syncs offsets from the source cluster to the target cluster. We can use custom filters to implement logic that checks whether a consumer group is idle before deciding whether or not to sync offset. Combining configuration options with custom filters gives us fine-grained control over when and how offset sync occurs. That's it for today's video on using MirrorMaker2 to stop offset sync when a consumer group is idle on the source cluster. We hope you found this explanation helpful in understanding how to leverage MirrorMaker2's powerful features to manage your Kafka clusters more effectively. If you have any questions or comments, please don't hesitate to leave them below. Don't forget to like and subscribe for more content on Apache Kafka and related topics. What other scenarios would you like us to explore with MirrorMaker2? Let us know in the comments. and we'll do our best to create more helpful videos for you.